with a fine tradition, could probably continue, and all of the people who are now out of work or struggling to find a job could still be in work.
I regret very much the fate of people who will not be able to find work. The two decisions were totally unrelated, absolutely and totally unrelated.
So when you came into the UK and said your priority was Rebecca Brooks, what did you mean?
I'm not sure
by
I
that?
did say that. I was quoted as saying that. I walked outside my flat and I had about 20 microphones stuck in my mouth, so I'm not sure what I said.
So you were misquoted, so to speak.
I'm not saying that, I just don't remember.
I think it's important. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Mr. Davies, it's important to remember, you know, the closure of a newspaper with a history, 160 some odd years history, is something that is a grave thing and something that is a serious matter of regret for us, for the company. But much more serious than that is the seriousness of really the violation of privacy, the hurt that certain individuals at the News of the World of illegal voicemail interceptions and their families. And really, and I can tell you, you know, I advocated at the time that this was a step that we should take. This was a paper and a title that had fundamentally violated the trust of its readers. And it's something that was a matter of great regret, real gravity, but under the circumstances and with respect to the bad things that certain of the things that happened at the News of the World some years ago did, it was really the right choice for the paper to cease publication. Now, it is important to note, and I want to be clear with the committee on this, that the company is doing everything it can to make sure that journalists and staff at the News of the World who had nothing to do with any of these issues, who are completely blameless in any of these things, and many are, you know, really done tremendous work journalistically, professionally, commercially for the business, that we find reemployment for them wherever we can. And I think the company is being as generous as we can under the circumstances. The company is being as thoughtful and compassionate for them and their families to get through this. But it is a very regrettable situation, and one that that we did not take lightly in any way.
You have made that clear. I'm going to ask for members, I don't want to cut anybody off, but please, we do still have some way to go. Paul Farrelly.
Thank you, John. I just want to return to the, how John opened the session and the evidence that was given to us previously, but I just, in connection with the Mr. Davies's questioning, there was one key question he omitted to ask. Mr. Murdoch, James, through all the civil actions, have you been paying Glenmore Care's legal fees? Not you personally, your organisation.
As I said earlier to the question from Mr. Davies, No, let's keep it short. Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. I don't know the current status of those. You asked the question: Are we paying all of Mr. Mulcair's legal fees?
Have you been paying legal fees for Glenmore Care during the course of the civil actions?
I don't know the details of the civil actions, but I do know that certain legal fees were paid for Mr. Mulcair by the company, and I was as surprised and shocked to learn that as you are.
Can you understand that people might ask why a company might wish to pay the legal fees of a convicted felon who's been intimately involved in the destruction of your reputation?
I can.
If it were not to buy his cooperation and silence.
No, it's not. I can understand that, and that's exactly why I asked the question. It's exactly what. When the allegations came out, I said, "How could we? Are we doing this? Is this what the company is doing?" And on legal advice, and again, I don't want to be legalistic, and I'm not a lawyer, but these are serious litigations. It's important for all of the evidence from all of the defendants to get to court at the right time. And the strong advice was that from time to time, it's important and customary even to pay co-defendants legal fees, and that is what. And I have to rest on counsel's advice on some of these serious litigation matters.
Is the organisation still contributing to Glenmore Care's legal fees?
As I said earlier, Mr. Farrelly, I don't know the precise status of that now, but I do know that I asked for those things for the company to find a way for those things to cease with respect to these things.
Will you let us know?
I'm happy to follow up with the committee on the status of those legal fees.
This is a serious question, Mr. Murdoch Senior. Is it not time for the organisation to say enough is enough? This man allegedly hacked the phone of the murdered schoolgirl Millie Dowler. Is it not time for your organisation to say, do your worst, you behave disgracefully, we're not going to pay any more of your costs?
I would like to do that. I don't know the status of what we're doing, or indeed what his contract was, or whether it still has any force.
If the organisation is still paying his fees, will you give the instruction now that that should stop?
Provided there's not in breach of a contract, a legal contract, yes.
I just want to return now to the question of making statements to Parliament without being in full possession of the facts. During our 2009 inquiry, all the witnesses who came to us testified to being intimately involved in particular, a huge trawl of emails after the arrival of Colin Myler. It seems over the past few days they've been rather quick to try and distance themselves from that investigation, according to some of the quotes in the newspapers. So could I, and it was stated to us clearly that trawl, that investigation uncovered no new evidence. It was still a lone rogue reporter. So, Mr. Murdoch James, can you tell us about the file of emails, the so-called internal report that was discovered allegedly? We read through the pages of the Sunday Times, a great newspaper, in the offices of Harbottle and Lewis. Can you tell us a little bit more about when that was discovered, when you first came to know about it, what's in it?
I first came to know about that earlier this year, in 2011.
Can you be more precise about the time? You've got a great grasp of chronology.
It would have been in the springtime. I don't remember the exact date when I was told about it.
Before April?
It would have been April or May. And I can try to find the meeting schedules and whatnot and come back.
Yeah,
but it was a number of months ago. It was a few months ago, and I can't speak. I should say I can speak a little bit to it, but as to the activity that was carried out in 2007, again, I pieced this back together from the past. It was before any of my involvement, but the company at the time, I think you're referring to, there was a dismissal, an unfair dismissal case that was brought by Mr. Goodman, and that was the basis for conducting. It was right about the time of the conviction, so it was all in that period of time.
That was what we inferred in our report last year, but we were, despite the assurances as to the other motivations.
Well, it was right at the time Mr. Myler had come in. Codes of standards had been talked about. This is before my time. All of the 2007 business was there, and an investigation was done, or a fact-finding piece around this. And there was outside counsel was brought in. It was Harbottle and Lewis by the company at the time, and I understand that the legal executives, I think it was Mr. Chapman at the time, along with Mr. Myler, who testified to this effect, went took a report from them, and the opinion was clear that as to their review, there was no additional illegality with respect to phone hacking in that file. And as to their review, that was the opinion that was clear. And the company really rested on a number of things from then on. And I certainly know in 2009, when additional allegations came in the summer, the company really rested on a handful of things.
We know this. I just wanted to move right up to date to what was discovered in the offices of Harbottle and Lewis and when it was discovered.
So in 2010, after the civil litigations had put a spotlight, or unearthed, if you will, to us, to the company, additional new evidence, new information that hadn't been there before, and the police investigation started off. One of the things that went back and looked at, I suppose it was in the spring, by senior people at News International, was that file, and it was re-looked at, it was opened up and looked at, and it was very rapidly brought to our attention that this was something that
When did this happen? When was this looked at?
It was, again, this is between May and, this is sort of April, May, June, in that period.
And who looked at it first?
It's
reputedly Will Lewis.
On the side of the people managing the work on behalf of News International from early this year have been led by Mr. Lewis. That's correct.
And what's in that file? It's been reported as a collection of 300 emails or a loose leaf binder. What is it?
Mr. Farrelly, as you know, there is an ongoing criminal investigation, and I think it would be wrong of me to talk about specific information or evidence that is subject to and could make problems for the police in doing the important work that they're currently doing.
I don't think it's going to cause problems for police if you tell us whether it's A4, foolscap, emails in a ring binder, loose leaf. What is it? What is this?
It's paper. I mean, I think there are some emails, there are some documents.
And when was it? And have you read it all?
I have not read it all, but some emails, some things in it have been shown to me.
And what was your reaction? Was there an expletive that you'd use when you first read some of these emails?
I tried not to.
But when you do,
utter expletives, but
occasionally when you do.
My reaction immediately was to agree with the recommendation of the executives involved, which was that this was something that we should bring to the attention of the police with respect to their ongoing investigations and perhaps new ones.
And when was it given to the police? It's been reported as June the 20th.
I believe it was in June, after we informed the board of the company as well.
So that date's accurate.
But I believe it was June, yes.
Okay. The Sunday Times, a great newspaper, painted a picture on the 10th of July from this file that a cabal of 6 so-called gatekeepers on the news desk dealt with Glenn Mulcair, and it named them as Alex Moranchik, Greg Miskew, Clive Goodman, Neville Thurlbeck, James Weatherup, Ian Edmondson. Do you recognise that summary from the file that you've had a look at?
Mr. Farrelly, respectfully, I would ask you to please understand that detailed questions about any of the evidence, information that we've passed to the police in relation to their ongoing criminal inquiries are difficult for me to answer, and I would appreciate it if we could allow the police to undergo the important work that they are undergoing. There is a process that's important. We are cooperating with it. We are providing information on a regular basis. The company is providing information on a regular basis as needed by the police, and I really believe that we have to allow the police to conduct their investigation and hold the people who did wrong to account in this area.
Okay, I'll respect that.
I think if we were to comment on anything now, it could result in guilty people.
I fully understand.
Mr. Farrelly.
I will respect that, and clearly the descriptions in the press, so they're on the record, actually do, and including in the Sunday Times, do mention that the emails implicate Andy Coulson in knowledge of payments to the police, but I wouldn't expect you to comment on that. So I will now just turn to the Harbottle and Lewis letter that was provided to us by Rebecca Brooks as evidence during our inquiry that this trawl of emails had produced nothing more, and that